The Kalen DeBoer Show is brought to you by Coke Zero Sugar. Tackle game day with a great taste of Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? Try and decide. Ford. The Ford F-150 helps make your game day traditions bigger and better, season after season.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Alabama Department of Public Health, who reminds Alabama, don't wait, vaccinate.
Man, if you can't feel it right now, I need to check your pulse. Reminder, be who we are. Be who we are. When we're at our best, we're aggressive, we're fundamental. Everything you put into it is right out in front of you. Let's go get this thing. Hey, play pissed off all game long. 4 quarters, together, everyone. Let's do this thing, all right? This is what you work for. This is what you worked all week for. It is a flat-out street fight between the white lines and between the whistles for 4 quarters.
You promised adversity, and guess what? You promised it again today.
Okay, you deserve to go out there and be great. You deserve to go out there, have ultimate success, but you know you're going to have to earn it every single play. You want to change the game in a hurry? Go be explosive by doing your job.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Coach Kalen DeBoer Show presented by Truckworks. Coach, congratulations. 52-7 victory today over Mercer.
Yeah, it's, just another win. I'm proud of the guys, the way they went to work all week long. A team that, I know it's at the FCS level, but a team that's, going to be in the playoffs, pretty much guaranteed a spot there. So they do some things well. You can see they got some guys that can execute. But I'm proud of the way our guys, went out there, did their thing, and got a lot of guys on the football field. Some guys that work really hard all year long and got a chance to go out there, run some plays and do what they love to do, and that's play the game.
How did they handle Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday leading up to this?
Yeah, I thought it was consistent. There was really never a lapse in practice where I felt like, our heads weren't in or anything. And, where we're at and what we were coming off of and what we've been through, I think, being a product of our experiences, I think we're becoming more and more built for the different things that come our way. Emotionally, mentally, and then obviously, execution physically and all those type of things too. So I thought they were just really consistent all week long, really no highs and lows. And
able to build off of what has happened really in the last 2 ball games for you, Coach, which is not always easy in a game like this where there's a talent disparity.
Yeah, just like sometimes you see, execution errors, but you also see turnovers and it getting really sloppy that way. And to get through the game and win the turnover margin again the way we did, I'm proud of them. That's something that we really, fundamentally start with, taking care of the football, getting it, taking it away. And that's where it starts for us. It's been big for us the last really 4 games now. And we're continuing to build on that and have that mindset that I really appreciate and like.
Let's go into what happened in the first half, because you get a takeaway on the first drive. You get one on their third drive as well, I believe. And in between, you're able to score, I think, touchdowns on 3 of your first 4 drives as well offensively.
Yeah, there were some times where they moved the ball a little bit, and but just really making a play, going out, and our guys hustling, working hard to be in position. And when I talk about the mindset, I think a lot of it has to do with just getting to and doing your job, but doing it at an extremely high level with urgency. And, a tip ball or whatever it might be ends up in your hands when you are locked in and you are giving great effort.
So in this ball game, you're able to get the 31-7 lead at the half. They do get a touchdown on the board. It was pretty well executed play on their part after you had a punt that did not go. I think it was James' shortest effort of the year. He's been almost perfect, and unfortunately gave them a short field. And then, to their credit, they were able to make the most of it.
Nice catch over the shoulder, and coverage wasn't too bad. And so, got to credit them. They got some players too.
And also got some points after that to go into the locker room. I know you always want touchdowns, but
Yeah.
you got 3, which seemed to give you some momentum, again, going into the locker room.
And I don't care what game it is, you know, you want to start fast. And, you know, taking a lead, and then we talk about the middle 8 before the half, coming out of the half, and we did that. We got some points before we went in. We got some points when we came out, you know, and so I love where, you know, our heads are at, and understand you can break down the game into different segments, and, you know, finishing is the third piece to that. And I thought we did a nice job finishing, holding them scoreless in the second half, finding a way to get a lot of guys on the football field, and even those guys executing as well.
Well, there were a lot of them, so let's take a look at the first half highlights.
They run it and then bounce it to left side. Ball on the deck. Scramble for it. Picked up by Bama. Damon Payne Jr. off Ryan Williams. Cuts it up. 25-20-foot race, and you know he's going to win it. Touchdown, Alabama. Straight back. Fires across the middle. It's deflected, and it's picked off. What a play by Alabama. Off to Ryan Williams, trying to get to the corner. Gets a block. Splits defenders. Gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Alabama. Play action. Looks across the middle. Got Oots wide open. Catch made. 15, 10-5, touchdown Alabama. Ball knocked loose, picked up by Alabama. They go down the far sideline with Xavier Brown. Xavier on his feet. Xavier in the end zone. Touchdown Alabama.
Coach, at the half, you got a 31-7 lead, but what was your message? What are you telling the guys at the half of this game?
Yeah, just like we talked many times, we talked about it being 0-0, and just starting over with the mindset you had at the beginning of the game. You know, we talk about being relentless. We talk about attacking and just doing it one play at a time, you know, and doing your job and making sure that all the work that we put in, that, you know, we're rewarded by going out there and giving everything we have when it matters most. And just really starting all over. And a couple of adjustments here and there, a couple of things we wanted to really focus and hone in on. I thought our guys did a nice job adapting, you know, some things in the run game, you know, just pieces that we, I thought did a nice job at halftime adjusting to, and you saw the execution better there. And some things even in the offensive side of the ball, just running the football a little bit better as well.
You and I talked about this, I believe, on the radio show Wednesday, the fact that there are a lot of people that got to see this game that have never been to an Alabama game before, or this is the only one each year they're able to get tickets for. It's also a type game where, frankly, if your squad takes care of business in the first half, you're able to play guys in a game that never see action unless it's a spring game or in a scrimmage situation. How nice is it to see your guys handle business, your frontline guys, so that it can happen for you to reward those guys who work so hard in practice?
You know, there's the guys that just come to work every day. You know, they're young guys, or maybe they've been in the program 3, 4, 5 years as a walk-on.
Sure.
And then there's some really cool stories and guys who just grind through each and every day, or have a really great journey that they've been on. And seeing those guys go out there, I don't care if it's one play, you know, and get that moment, get that opportunity. There were a couple little, you know, really cool things that most people don't know about that, you know, that make you feel good about the team doing exactly what you did. Take care of business so some of these guys can experience something, you know, something cool, something special, and be rewarded for the work they put into our program.
All right, Coach, let's take a look at those second half highlights.
Quarterback Keith Milroe trying to get to the edge, fights at the goal line, gets upended, gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Alabama. Handoff goes to Young, walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Alabama. Mack looking, firing downfield, has a man in the end zone. That one is caught. Touchdown, Alabama. Rico Scott, his first collegiate touchdown. Mack, the same for him. And man, great to see Ty Simpson be the first guy out to greet Mack, who now sprints.
Coach, Nealon Hibbett's a guy that has been a big part of your football team for a while. We were talking earlier. Really cool for him. His grandfather, Dennis Holman, who was a great receiver at Alabama, played professional football for a number of years as well. He's one of these great stories of young men who just do a terrific job for your program in a it's one of those deals, frankly, where people don't know a lot about him unless he doesn't do his job right.
I know that's there's a couple things when it comes to specialists, right? We don't ever want James Byrne up on the field, and he knows that. So those are the things that are interesting when it comes to special teams. But Nealon is a guy that just is so trustworthy, and that's not just on the field; it's off the field. He bleeds crimson as much as anyone on our football team, and just comes to work with a desire to be great and do whatever he can for our football team, and he does that. So, the guys love him. He's got a great personality, great way about him, and he's very much a critical piece of our football team.
Prestige Health Net brings us our Player All Access feature, and this week it's with Nealon Hibbett.
My name's Nealon Hibbett. I'm from Florence, Alabama, and I went to Florence High School. Being from Florence, my whole family basically went to Alabama, and we grew up huge fans. So for my family and me, it means the world to play at Alabama because of the legacy that my grandfather had here playing for Bear Bryant, and just growing up, always watching the Crimson Tide play. It was always a dream that I wanted to work for, and fortunately, God had it in His favor to let it work out for me. I'm the long snapper, and I knew of the great long snappers that had come through here. All guys who had opportunities to play in the NFL, so I knew if I could just get to being at Alabama as a long snapper and put in the work, then I'd have a real opportunity for the NFL. My mom comes to every single away game with my stepdad, and I realized that when away teams stick your parents up in the very top of a stadium, you can never see them. So we had the great idea of, let's get a neon pom-pom, and then every time you go to a away stadium, I can see where y'all are at. So the TikTok was actually a funny story. I was approached one time by a girl who was in Zeta, and she asked me to be their flag football coach.
Ruby, you get to play now.
And I thought it would just be, a funny video to send to some friends. We filmed the video, posted it on TikTok, and just woke up the next day and it had blown up.
Get the camera off me.
I figured I could use that to possibly gain a following, a little extra money as a walk-on, and be able to give to charitable foundations that I care about. And so I've contributed a portion of my NIL money to the Concussion Legacy Foundation. They research CTE and do different events to find a cureness for it. And my grandfather, who played here, unfortunately has been diagnosed with CTE and has donated his brain when he passes to be studied, and that's part of what the CLF does to be able to contribute to people who suffer from this disease. To all the Alabama fans, we appreciate all the support. Make Bryant-Denny Stadium loud. Can't wait to see y'all this year in Roll Tide.
Coach, in addition to hearing you talk about some of your players in our features, we also love hearing you talk about your assistant coaches. Brian Ellis works with your tight ends. Tell us about this gentleman.
Yeah, I ran across Brian a few years back when he was out on the West Coast, and I remember just being so impressed with him, just the way he ran things, even just running camps and things like that. But following his career and just kind of knowing where he was at, he's been a coordinator at the Division I level, comes from a football family, and so it's in his blood, and he just does so much for our offense, for our football team. He can coach so many different positions, quarterbacks, he understands their reads, and I think, really the education he gives from a football sense to our tight ends, and just their knowledge of our offense comes from what he teaches, but he's special, and just fun to work with every day. You know what you're getting. You're getting a lot of hard work, a lot of great knowledge that our guys can take from him.
I know they've got to be blockers first, but also receivers, and we saw a great example of that. There were some guys that, as you were playing more and more guys, Ty Lockwood's one that had a great catch in a tight window today. And again, that's another example of the work that Coach Ellis puts in with that position.
Yeah, there's different pieces, like you said, with the blocking, and all of them can really, I think, be very diverse in what they do because of the teaching Brian brings.
Let's go Mercedes-Benz All Access with tight ends coach Brian Ellis.
Brian Ellis. I grew up in South Georgia, and I played college football at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. At an early age, I didn't choose to play football. When you have a father that's a football coach, you kind of get forced into that role. That really grew fond of playing football during my high school days. With some of my best friends in this world, high school guys that we, for lack of a better term, we bled, we sweat. It was hot in South Georgia. It was tough days that we grew together, and the toughness, the mental toughness that it takes to play this game is really what, as I was growing up, what made me so fond of it. I went into coaching because I was a young person one time, and the people that I listened to the most in my life, the people that had the most influence on me in my life were my coaches, and I wanted to be that for somebody else. I've always admired the program and the tradition and the history of Alabama from afar. When you're at UAB, there was a lot of people that were connected to the University of Alabama, and you just hear about the care, the want to, the resources, the attitude of winning. And that, as a coach, like I said, you want to be at the highest level. You want to try to see how far you can go, and you want to try to win a national championship. When you look up after every game, we want to be proud of first off, we own that C gap. And second off, how can we help in any other way, whether it be special teams, whether it be in the passing game, but it starts and ends with toughness with us.
Coach, time for our CB&S Bank play of the game, and this is a fun one because a guy that normally doesn't find the end zone, but it's a very popular part of your team, able to score.
Yeah, a lot of good options today. He got an interception for a touchdown, but how can you not, dial up Robbie Oots, scoring a touchdown? So we got to talk about this one. It's their early second quarter, 14-0, and a lot of hats here. Down really focused on the run game. Kind of a tight formation here with tight end, two tailbacks, and just the action right here. And we'll take a look at the end zone shot. You can see Tyler Booker pulling, doing a nice job with Caden here, expanding the pocket, getting the linebackers to pull in here with the run fake, and as we pull out, expand the pocket, and there's an adding on a linebacker, and Jalen's got to do a nice job, maybe having to throw off his back foot a little bit, but when you really watch the wide shot, you can see the spacing by the skill, all really good. Whether it's on the bottom with Germ, okay, got a throw up on top that you can take with K-Law, and then good spacing here between Robbie and Jam, down the hash. And so the first look in the progression's wide open. Robbie getting behind the secondary. He'd probably tell me he's always doing that and he's always open, but excited for a guy that's a senior in our program, giving so much.
Coach, we take a look now at what's next, and it's on the road, the first time ever for Alabama to play at Oklahoma as conference members. We've been there. It's been a long time, but the first time as conference opponents playing in Norman.
Yeah, and, we've already talked about it down in the locker room. We've gone on the road now and proven, that we can do things outside of Bryant-Denny, win big games there, and, understanding full well that it's the preparation to go into those places, and we know it's going to be another great environment there next Saturday, and a team that, starting with defense, I know that they got a great defense, and just some things that we got to make sure we're on point on to play great team football, do what we do best, and play to our strengths and continue to work on our areas that we need to improve on. So, going to be a great environment, like I said, and a fun one for us to get ready for.
6:30 kickoff. Radio coverage on the Crimson Tide Sports Network begins at 3:30. Coach, congratulations again on the 52-7 victory over Mercer. Thank you for joining us. Roll Tide, everybody.
The Kalen DeBoer Show is brought to you by Coke Zero Sugar. Tackle game day with a great taste of Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? Try and decide. Ford. The Ford F-150 helps make your game day traditions bigger and better, season after season.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Alabama Department of Public Health, who reminds Alabama, don't wait, vaccinate.